kitchen table. Dude, today work has been crazy.
I can't even hear what you're saying. I took my earbuds out if you're talking.
I said, you got a bat in the cave?
Do I really?
No, just kidding.
Oh, like what? Like what?
You're like, oh.
And we're live and you say that. That's awesome.
No, I'm just messing with you. You had your earbuds out. Yeah, big fat bat in the cave. I'm just messing with you. Okay, so
dang, the camera is like that good.
Yeah, dude, it's all good. Okay. So let's just talk. We'll make it up as we go for about 30 minutes and call it a show. Man, our voices are rough.
Woo. Well, there's so much talking and then like shouting, like cheering people on and stuff. So
this is the cleaner show, I'm gonna call it. All right, here we go. We got Friday 24/19. Here we go. Welcome to episode 2419 of the Be Our Guest Walt Disney World Trip Planning Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Rallman from BeOurGuestPodcast.com and one of the senior agents over at the Magic for Less Travel. Happy Friday to you. Hope you are doing well. I can tell you what, your two podcasters today here in the studios we're doing great because we're waking up on the left coast, best coast, west coast. We're having a great time out at Disneyland as the races return to the Disneyland Resort, and I get to run my very first time out at Disneyland Resort, so I'm super excited for that. Scotty G has run out there before, so he's giving me all the pointers and letting me know what to expect, but not too much so that I get a little surprise and delight on the courses. But it's going to be a great time, so follow us on the social media. Again, we'll give you this at the end of the show, but at Be Our Guest Mike, especially Instagram for me, that's the place where I kind of primarily do my stuff, but also on Twitter and Threads as well. Facebook, it goes to Facebook too, so you can go there. Mike Rallman on Facebook, Scotty G's at Ep Scott. But let's get Scott in here. He's my brother from another mother and 7-time marathoner, and he's the bit goofy. Scotty G, what's going on?
Hey, Mike, happy Friday. Let's do it all over again, right? It's kind of crazy, man. This is when I got off the plane 33 hours later, I was checking in for my next flight. Like I've never had anything like that before. So yeah, super excited to recap some marathon weekend, but even more excited to be out in Anaheim and ready to run Disneyland races again.
So a little behind the scenes, we record these shows typically on Mondays as we record the Wednesday and Friday shows for the week. We kind of load them up then and have Pam and Ricky joining us. But of course, this past couple of weeks, we've appreciated your patience as we've recorded early for these shows. We want to keep something relatively current. And so we're recording this one on Tuesday, January 9th. So this is our tweener show. We are back from marathon weekend, but we are both not yet departed for Disneyland. So this is what we're in between. You are leaving literally in the morning as we record. I'm leaving early Thursday morning, and we're going to be out there. So we thought we would reflect on marathon weekend down at Walt Disney World. 4 races, 5, 10, half, and full. We'll dive into with the ladies our resort stays. You stayed at Caribbean Beach. You were there for New Year's Eve. You stayed at French Quarter for the majority of the stay. You were a big fan. We'll talk about that. Ate the beignets. Coronado rocked. I post a lot of their pictures. God, I love Coronado. I'll talk about that as well. But I thought we'd spend this time, because running's hot right now, right? We're doing like this intense 12 days of Run Disney. I mean, like I'm decked out. I got the new hat and stuff. So let's kind of just dive into what was Marathon Weekend 2024. So as we're back, we've been back about 24 hours. Scotty G, what kind of sticks out? We don't even have to go sequentially. Let's just talk like we're just hanging out. Like we're sitting at a Rick's Sports Bar watching the Lions as we do. What sticks out Marathon Weekend?
So rain sticks out to me for Marathon Weekend. Now, again, I didn't do the 5K and 10K this year. I took those off. But I think about rain when I think about 2024 because of the rain shortened half marathon, which I'm sure we'll go into a little bit more detail here. But, we had weather that impacted the half marathon. And, what was supposed to be a nice forecast day on Sunday, no rain at all. Boom, we had like a 20-minute downpour that was unexpected on Marathon Sunday, which I know impacted a lot of people. It impacted me because it got my shoes all wet, my socks all wet. I have blisters all over me now. Was not expecting that. So, like, I'll always think about the rain when I think about 2024.
I know. The thing is, it wasn't 2017, right? Where we had the entire half marathon canceled the night before, but it had hints of 2017. If you were around back then, that was the night at dinner time, because we were together. We were sitting in Mexico. That was the one year that I ran the Dopey with you and my oldest daughter, Paige. And we were sitting in Mexico, and all the lizards. That's one thing about I want to get to this kind of later in the show. Our podcast family, our lizards are amazing. They were out there. You had the greatest post, and a few others did an awesome job of really reflecting on how much these folks meant to all of us that were out on the course, seeing people at the TTC, seeing people on the boardwalk. I saw lizards on a boat, Friendship Quarter, Debbie Stevens and the Rothsteins and some other folks. I guess I was at mile 24. They caught me walking, but I was dead as a doornail, but they picked me up over by the boardwalk villas. I was like, they're on a boat screaming at me. It was our lizards. Anyway.
That's amazing. I did not hear that story yet. That's incredible.
They got video of it on Facebook. I was like, because I was dead as a doornail, man. And I knew I was close, but man, they're like, go, Mike. They're on the boat, the Friendship boat going from the
That's fantastic.
I was like, you caught me walking, you suckers. But it was all, it's like they're everywhere. And it's like exactly what I needed. It was so perfect. But anyway, they're floating even, so I had to race the boat after 24 miles. Dude, that was ugly. And I saw the video today. I'm like, God, do I really look like that running after 24 miles? I'm like an 87-year-old guy. Yeah, I do.
Dude, no one, I see George Reeves is in the chat. He might be the only person that actually like looks the way they think they look when they run,
Looks perfect. Yeah, dude, he is, Atlas.
But yeah, like I have this vision in my mind that, oh yeah, this is what I look. I got these strides. And then I'll see a video, like Liz will take a video of me sometimes coming up to her cheering. And I'm like, man, that is now how I vision what I look like, man. I look terrible.
100%. 100%. I know in my mind's eye, man, I look good. I look like Edwin Moses, or that's a 80s reference there, showing my age. But Usain Bolt, no, I don't ever look like that. And I know that. But yeah, so I just want to shout out the lizards, everybody who got up, because I know these folks got up as early as we did. They put on miles and miles and miles. They stood in the rain. They stood in the cold. They stood in the, miserable conditions, not to get a medal, and I just want to make sure that you got the pat on the back and the love, because you guys were amazing. I mean, honestly, those hugs, the pretzels over from, Brooke and Animal Kingdom. Yeah. I mean, the pretzels hit the spot, but it wasn't just the pretzels. It was you being there. Like the salt and the starch was great, but it was more the smile and the you go, it was the combo of that. So just everybody that was out there, thank you. And Dave and Eileen, like they've been there since I've ever started doing this crazy stuff. They're always, and Dave on a new hip, dude, did the half. Like walking, it's like faster than almost I can run. It's great. The amazing stuff the lizards do is unreal. But yeah, rain. So I was getting back to that. It had hints of that. We got the news at dinner time. It was dinner time, right? We were via Napoli, where we kind of
right as we're getting seated. I saw something about it, and then that's how we spent the first 5 minutes of dinner. Was all on our phones trying to get any updates that we could.
So, I mean, I've reflected on this, right? I mean, definitely the right call, correct?
Yeah. Oh, it was the right call. So what they did, for those that don't know, so a half marathon's a 13.1 distance, and the races start at 5:00. They pushed the start time to 4:45, which, side note, I loved that. Because like we're there because they didn't start the buses earlier or anything. Like you didn't have to get there earlier necessarily. So
for real,
I had 15 less minutes waiting, which was amazing. But then the course was reduced to 7.1 because they wanted everyone out of the reunion area for their safety, back to the resorts or wherever they need to go by 8:00, because that's when the weather is going to start getting really bad. And it's a tough decision. Like you got people that are maybe going for qualifying times or PRs or first ever Dopey, first ever half marathon, whatever it might be, whatever their journey was. Like there's going to be disappointed people. That's just a tough decision to make. But I will say it was the right one because it rained. I mean, when I finished the race, it was raining. Like when I finished, there weren't even photographers to take your finish line photo. There weren't people out at the reunion area. Like they basically had already packed up. That's how bad the weather was getting. So they made the right call, I think.
Yeah, you gotta, there could have been lightning, and one person getting hit by lightning, and because you got to remember, you got characters out there, you have bands out there, high school kids, you have volunteers out there, and the volunteers, a lot of them are kids. You cannot take the chance. So, you
especially like a brand like Disney absolutely cannot. And I think I saw someone talk about like comparing it to the Flying Pig. I don't know if you remember that race in Cincinnati that was just a monsoon. And I don't think Disney wanted to be in that situation, right? Where like, let's all let all these people off. And like, what if, I just can't imagine if there was like an injury of some sort that would just destroy Disney's brand. And like, and it doesn't, then the brand doesn't even matter. It's just the fact that a human being's safety is the most important thing. So it's 100% the right call to make.
Yeah, I mean, disappointing for sure. Because, like, for example, I was on the, the shuttle bus after you get off the airport back home, right? And they take you to your car, to your lot. And there was a couple sitting across from me on the shuttle bus, and it was their first run Disney experience, and they only signed up for the half, right? And so I felt so bad for them, right? Because like, it was so congested, and it was just, not what we signed up for. It was not. And I told them, I said, just give them another chance. It's like, sign up for a Princess Half Marathon, or sign up for the Springtime Surprise, or this was not if you only signed up for the half marathon, you got a taste, you got like a sampler platter, but you didn't get the Run Disney experience, because you signed up, and in your mind's eye for the last 6 months, a year, whatever it was, when you're training, you're picturing running through Magic Kingdom. You're picturing Main Street USA with people with cowbells and going through the castle. We didn't get any of that. We got clover leaves. Got a lot of clover leaves and got a lot of congested roads. So you got a little.
Boy, did we ever?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't an ideal course, but I mean, really, they had to keep it to the backside of the course just for logistical reasons. I mean, I get why they did. It wasn't great because everybody was jammed up.
And they straight up changed the course. It was kind of funny at the expo. Emily, you know how they always have like the big photo of the course map. So Emily's looking it over, and she said, she kind of takes partial blame for this, Mike. She said, dang, like, we don't even run through World Showcase during the half. Like, we just go, and she kind of remembered it because it was kind of like the same course as Princess always is. She's like, oh, yeah, that's right. It's just the out and back to Magic Kingdom, and then we kind of just do a little bit in Epcot, but no World Showcase. And then they changed the course, and then we got 100% of the World Showcase, basically. So it was kind of funny and ironic that they did that. They did make that change. So they did alter the course a little bit, too, because of it.
Yeah, I mean, they made the best out of a kind of a bad spot, and they kept everybody safe. Nobody was hurt. Everybody got their medals, and everybody got to get, we ran 7.1, so we ran over half of the half, which was good. I like, at least it was 7.1, so we did, more than half of the distance, which was great.
Yep.
We didn't get to just have to do 5 or something, which would have been kind of a disappointment. And some folks finished on the parking lot. I saw a lot of people when I got up in the morning at Coronado to get on the bus to go over to Epcot. Dude, people were around Coronado at like 3:12. So they must have got up at 2:00 in the morning and decided, I'm going to get my 6 in before even headed over. And I guess the 7.1 was their last 7.1. I didn't think of that.
But. Which is a way cool way to do it, because then the finish line is the actual finish line.
Yeah, it's the actual finish line. Right. I didn't think of it then, but when I saw him, then I was like, oh, I should have done that. I didn't even think about that. Got a little, people were running around like by the Johns and stuff, but it is what it is. And it was a memory, because the thing is, I don't remember the 2019 half marathon. I have zero memories of that right now, but I remember 2017 because we rained on us like dogs, and we ran around the boardwalk. It was unofficial and it was awesome. Got great pictures, and I'll remember this one now because of the circumstances. So circumstances we overcame, and we did great on that. So let's talk just a couple of the things people might be curious about. Again, the expo, man. The expo is a pain in the rear, and every time I go to an expo, Scotty G, you are so right. I would have paid $50 to just grab my stuff back at Coronado Springs, just that little old check-in area. They could have had a little section where I go to the R booth and have like a claim ticket and grab my bibs and grab my shirts and just walk away happy. I don't know, because I didn't get my dopey jacket again.
And then if you want to
immediately. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And if you want to go to the expo, you still can, right? Like, if you need to get some gels or a new shirt or check out the vendors, you still have that option to go. But if you specifically just want your bib and your race shirts, man, I wish they had some way to coordinate that if you were on site where they can just pick it up at your hotel. That would just be fantastic to me.
Yeah. And again, second year in a row, no dopey jacket. And the thing was, I was flying down early Wednesday morning, and I was over Florida. I was over Jacksonville, at the time to check in for the virtual queue. And you got to be within 45 miles. The app tells you, and I got hit, you're not close enough. I'm like, oh, come on, speed this jet up. Can't we go supersonic? We're doing, I was checking because I have FlightAware. I was like, we're going 500 miles an hour. Can't we just do 6 or something? I mean, we're so close. We got to be almost 45 miles. So I text Scotty G. Scotty, no worries, dude. He's like, we're in. We got it. We group like 70 or something. It was like 71.
Yeah. Think Elizabeth. I was driving at the time, so Liz took care of that for you.
So but it was immediate, right? I mean, it was within seconds. I mean, it wasn't like 5 minutes later. It was in the first minute, right?
Yeah, it's just like a Tron or Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, it goes in like 3 seconds. And not to sound like a broken record, but we say this all the time. It just makes the expo a mess because people get there. It gives you an ETA, like it says, oh, you'll be called in 120 minutes. Turns out like it's 180 minutes and you still haven't been called. So people are just sitting on the grass, like just hanging out. Like it has a bad vibe to me when I'm there. Like I just don't like seeing that. It seems, I know it's as organized as they can make it, maybe, but it just looks really disorganized when you're out there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not a good system because you're exactly right. Like it told me, because again, you have to plan your whole day around it. And I did want a dopey jacket because the story, again, I've probably told the story. My in-laws for Christmas, my birthday's at the end of November, Christmas is in December, and my in-laws typically get me Disney gift cards, right? My brother-in-law, sister-in-law, you know, they Pam's sisters and stuff. It's easy for them. And it's great for me because they know I'm going to Walt Disney World for Marathon Weekend, first week of January. And I always get a jacket or something. And then I take a picture and I always tell them, you know, this is your Christmas present. Thank you. Like, this is what you got me for Christmas. I'm happy. They're all excited because they see what they got me. And it's, you know, it's all good. And in the past, it's always been a dopey jacket for the past, you know, years and years. And the last couple of years, now I've gotten a marathon jacket like the one you're sporting right now, which I love. I love the color. It's
shout out to the Anderson family though. Can I just share this story really quick? Since we're talking about merchandise. So I went to the expo with Wade. And we kind of got lost. You know, he was looking at something. I was trying to pick up something for Ben because Ben had lunch, so he couldn't make it. And then we finally connect, and Wade's actually wearing this jacket. I'm like, man, that looks good on you. And to describe for those that aren't watching, it's like what would you call this? Like a maroon kind of, like, I don't know, kind of like a reddish, like burgundy, like I don't know. Like, it's kind of a unique color. I really like it. And
crimson.
I wouldn't call it that. I see what you're doing there, though. but yeah, so Wade's wearing it. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try that on. So I try on my size, and I look at it. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm going out to Disneyland. Maybe I'll just get Disneyland merch instead, you know, just hold back on the marathon stuff. So, you know, we go do the thing. I said to Wade, like, later that day, like, dang, I kind of wish I would have got that jacket, but there's no way I'm going back to the expo. So there we are, the morning of the marathon. We're in the corrals, and I even mentioned the jacket again. I was like, dang it, I wish I would have bought that jacket. But you know, sometimes they have those merchandise tents after the race. So, and I don't have your typical runner size, so sometimes they have extras in my size. So it's like, maybe after the race I can go to the tent and see if they have the jacket. So, you know, flash forward 6.5, 7 hours later, whatever, finish the race. I see Wade and Shelly in the reunion area. And they bought me a jacket. They bought me the jacket, Mike. And I just thought that was a really nice gesture. Just another great sign of how great our community is. And I love them anyway, but I love them for that too. But I love the Andersons, and that was a really generous gift that they did for me.
Who says Cornhuskers aren't nice? I mean,
I never said that.
I'm just playing. No, the Andersons are awesome. We got to spend so much time with them this week. And again, our community is amazing. Everybody does everything for everybody. And you saw this all weekend. People, because I mean, if you want to get what you want to get at an expo, you got to have help. That's the whole point. Like, you were helping Ben. Like, you were helping me to get a virtual queue because it's so hard. I was in the air. I mean, my hands were tied. There was nothing I could do. I was stuck in an airplane. That was the first flight
part of that. If you're not part of the Club Run Disney, you're going to need help, basically, is what it comes down to.
And that's what my wife kept saying. She's like, okay, Mike, you did everything you could, right? As a solo traveler, how do you not get a dopey jacket? Like, how are they gaming the system? And I'm like, it has to be Club Run Disney. They're going in there and seeing like the money you pay for the membership is worth the investment to churn the merchandise on eBay, right? It's like a business expense. And it's so wrong. I mean, it's simple. If you have a bib for dopey, you should be able to at least be entitled to, or pre-order something, be entitled to at least purchase one jacket in your size, like pre-order, or just, you know, go in there and get one shot because you're running 48 miles for the goodness sake. So you're spending all that money, at least get one shot at it. You know, it just leaves a little sour taste in your mouth. It's just,
maybe that should just be part of the registration, that everyone gets a jacket. And
I mean, they do size jackets in a lot of,
I know. But then What would they do to the cost with that then if they started doing that?
I think it's $100 jacket. Exactly. And then it'd be 150 if they threw it in.
Yep. And then you wouldn't be able to get any like discounts probably. Like, well, we don't need to give people discounts either. So yeah. I don't know how they solve it, Mike, but it is a problem. And I've said that. I'm glad you called that out. Like, there should be, at least on the first day of the expo, it should be runners only that can purchase some of that merchandise. Like you got to have a bib.
We're too smart for that. Yeah, I know. And we missed Lonnie. Where was Lonnie?
I know. Lonnie's going to be out at Disneyland. Lonnie's going to be out with us as this episode drops. Lonnie will be there. So we'll have the photobomb expert out.
I was going to say, because my selfies are horrible. Like, I don't have any Lonnie in my background. So I know it's brutal. So Lonnie, good. We'll see you out here. Okay.
So there's something that you and I haven't talked about yet that I wrote down because I wanted to get your opinion on it. And it blew me away, and it was a huge surprise. The national anthem on Marathon Sunday. Was that not the coolest thing ever?
Dapper Dans.
The Dapper Dans came out and sang the national anthem. And that's not a knock on any other anthem I've seen there. And I got to give credit to those talented artists that go out there at 5. Actually, it's even before 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Like 4:45, 4:50. I mean, they must be like in a trailer somewhere, like cleaning up the pipes, getting ready for this. But like, I think
they warm them up. I don't know if they clean them up. I don't know. That sounded gross.
I'm still tired, man. I'm still tired from all the racing. But to go out there in that moment and sing the national anthem, I mean, I know they're professionals, but every anthem is fantastic. But the Dapper Dans, man, they just absolutely crushed it. That was like unexpected. It was so awesome. So I just applaud Run Disney for getting the Dapper Dans to do the anthem. That was like the coolest anthem of all time.
I agree and you're exactly right. They get such talented folks to do this. Like I just wonder when they ask these, these talented folks, like, okay, would you mind singing the national anthem for our race? And they're probably like, yeah, sure, no problem. Okay. So you need to be in the Epcot parking lot at 4 a.m. and then we will put you in a trailer to get loose, and then we'll call on you at 4:40. And it'll be 25 degrees, possibly. It'll be super cold some years. And yeah, okay, then sing it like you never sang it before for 20,000 people. And they kill it every year. But the Dapper Dans, what it was, and I love that they saved it for Marathon, because like that's the day that you're like super nervous. Like I never sleep Saturday night. I'm always iffy if I'm going to finish. I feel like I'm going to throw up before that race. I'm always I think everybody is, right? 26 miles is just stupid long.
Well, that's what I told Wade, like at dinner the night before, like I was kind of quiet, and all that. And like, I kind of shut down before, because I started getting all those nerves too. Like Saturday night, I'm just usually kind of a mess before the marathon, because I got so much on my mind. And you're absolutely right.
Because you have a plan, right? In your head, you're like, okay, I'm gonna try to do like this, because you get around all these runners, right? And everybody talks about it, and everybody's like, I'm gonna try to do this pace. I'm not I'm not like a nuts and bolts runner guy. Like I don't know what my pace is and what my run, walk, run, all that. I just get on a treadmill and do my same thing over and over and over. So when I get outside, man, I don't know what I'm doing. And so I get nervous. That's a foreign concept to me, to run outside for 26 miles. And I think it is for a lot of people. So we get out there and you just wonder how it's going to go, because again, you're with the elements, you're with 20,000 other people, you just don't know how your body's going to react. I mean, the meal you had the night before could agree with you. It could disagree with you. I mean, there's so many variables that come into play. And like you said, this year, probably about an hour into the race, maybe an hour and a half into the race, a downpour. And again, we checked the forecast. 0% chance of rain is what I saw on my weather app, because I check it every morning right before I walk out of the room. I carried a poncho in my pocket on Friday and Saturday. Didn't even need it. Sunday, I'm like, why would I haul this thing? 0% chance of rain. I'm not hauling that sucker for 26 miles. 0%. Yeah. Drowned back on the way to Animal Kingdom. It was a mess. But you get through it and you remember it. So do you remember anything on the course that stood out to you? Let's talk marathon, because that's the longest one, and it's kind of the most recent. But anything on the course that surprised you or excited you?
So here was a surprise, outside of the rain, of course. And I know you don't get into this. I actually don't get into it in the races, because I just don't have time to pull over for character stops. But the characters were kind of weird. Like, they weren't like classic characters. There was like, it was very heavy Disney Junior characters, which I found very strange for a race that's all 18 and over, because you have to be 18 to do the marathon.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that. You do have to be 18.
Yeah. So it's not like a 5K where Disney Junior characters make a lot of sense to me, but it was just, and I wouldn't even say like they're obscure, because like a lot of Disney adults love the obscure characters, but it was a lot of Disney Junior, no classic characters out there, it felt like. And again, this wasn't a race where I was stopping for characters. Sometimes I do, but like, I almost stopped for Doc McStuffins, because the poor girl had no one waiting for her, because it was Doc McStuffins and no one was expecting that, on the race course. So it was just, the characters were really strange to me. I don't know if you noticed that while you're out there running.
I did notice. I think I saw Fancy Nancy, but I think I might have been hallucinating at that point as we were kind of coming up on the studios, and it was on my left at that point. And then I turned the corner and the studios was on my right on the other side of the divided highway. And I'm like, how did that happen? Now we got to go further. Right. I was so mad at that point, because I thought we were turning left into the studios. I could see Star Wars Galaxy's Edge right there. And then somehow we made a swoopy swoop. And then the studios all of a sudden magically was like a mile down the road and on the right side of the road on the other side of the traffic. I was like, how did that magic happen? Because that magic means that we have to go a mile down this straightaway. And I know we got to do another cloverleaf to get up to that bridge and go, okay, because I knew then, because that's the bridge by Coronado. It's like, the problem is we're just hanging out here, getting you through your Friday, right? If you're on your flight out there or whatever, we're just giving you some thoughts. We'll get into this over the next few weeks too, in more detail. But that's the thing, right? When you know property really well, because you've been down there, you start to like, first you don't understand exactly where you're going. And then you start to put two and two together and you're like, oh man, I know where I'm going. And sometimes it's not good to know. Like, I'd rather not know sometimes.
For a second, I thought we were going to come in through Galaxy's Edge. Honestly, for a second,
I did too, because we were right there. We were right by Star Cruiser.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be interesting. Cool. We're going to get some more Hollywood Studios time." And then I said, and shout out to Emily, Dana, and Mark. Like, I normally don't finish races or do the races with other lizards. I mean, that's not a knock to them. It's just I conserve a lot of energy, so I try not to talk very much, just so I can conserve energy to finish. But God, it was awesome, man. Just to hang out with three great teammates, for like a third of the race. But anyway, so we were kind of coming up there, and me and Mark were like, I think we're going into Galaxy's Edge. And sure enough, we did. And then I said to Emily and Dana, like, well, when we get to the studios, historically, we only have 500 yards in there, so they're probably going to stick to that. And sure enough, Mike, you go in there, you go up that hill, you get your chocolate or whatever, you go down Sunset, and boom, and then you're done. It's just, that's unbelievable to me that you only get like, I don't even know. I jokingly say 500 yards, but it might actually be 500 yards of studio time.
It might not even be 500 yards, because
it might not.
It's half of Sunset. I mean, really, as far as on stage time, because
on stage time is very limited, because I guess you kind of run backstage to get up there. But yeah,
if you count, okay, it depends what you count like is on stage. If you count like the area in front of the Tower of Terror store back in that like cul-de-sac by the queue, that's technically on stage, but nobody's back there. Right. Really, the only on stage time that I really consider kind of like fun because people are cheering is Sunset. And you only do to that corner where the store is. You do. It's probably 200 yards.
Right. Then they force you left out backstage, and then boom, you're done. I wish they could figure that out better. Especially for the full, and I think some of the other races, like I think the Springtime Surprise 10 miler comes in over by, like, you do some Toy Story Land and Galaxy's Edge, and that's awesome. Like, I wish they could somehow incorporate that to the marathon, the granddaddy of them all, right? That's the big race. And I think we've all come in agreement. You get less than 200 yards in that theme park. It blows my mind.
That's what Richard's saying in the chat. Now, let me ask you this. Okay. Let me just, because we're hanging out here and the chat can help us out, because we got a lot of folks in the chat today. Impact to guests, because we see it from probably a different perspective, right? Because as runners, we're going through the parks and we see people really cheering us on, right? They have signs, they have cowbells, and they're really encouraging us. Do you think Disney gets a lot of complaints as the impact? Do you think that's why we only do 200 yards in the studios? Because the guest relations is flooded because these stupid runners are coming down Sunset and they don't want us going down Hollywood Boulevard, and they don't want us going down past the ABC commissary, down that street, and going through Galaxy's Edge. Or do you think a common guest might think that that's pretty cool to get to see runners at mile 22 really pushing themselves? Because I mean, it is kind of a shock, but then again, when you start to see people come through, if you just look at the achievements that people are doing, and I'm not saying myself, but I'm just saying, like, it's because before I could do a marathon, I remember watching one and how shocked and how like inspired I was by folks that looked not like Olympians, but were pushing themselves to the limit. And I just couldn't do anything but stand there and cheer. I don't know.
Yeah. It's definitely a mix of both, because I've seen it as a runner. Like, you can kind of spot day guests who look surprised because they'll just kind of stop and be like, oh, wow, like this is awesome. You can kind of hear them sometimes. But they're not going to be loud about it. They're not going to write to Disney like, oh, I applaud you for having that marathon go through there. It kind of enhanced my experience. No, they're always going to hear the people complaining.
Probably.
Where like, this is an interruption. I was trying to get to wherever. I was trying to get the Slinky Dog Dash, and like the course was roped off. I had to wait 10 minutes, and then I missed my ADR because of this. And Disney obviously would work with them if something like that happened. But because I've seen it in Epcot. I've seen them because Epcot I think is the hardest one. Because
I was having a hard time and I'm a runner,
yeah,
dude. To get back to you, dude. I got put in a pen in the middle of the UK. Like, I was in the center and I couldn't get out.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. And then they'll shift traffic patterns sometimes where like some people can cross and then they have to wait another couple minutes before they can cross again. It's a mess at Epcot, but I love it though, because I love seeing all those people like huddled up, because a few of them are mad. You can kind of see their faces. They're tapping their foot. They're ready to go. But then other people are like applauding, like, oh, this is kind of cool. But they're not going to hear they're going to hear complaints from those people. And then they're going to be mad because their bus ride took 20 extra minutes because there was roads closed and all that. So it's a tough situation, but I don't know. I think as a runner, I'm going to be selfish. Like, I think it's totally worth it. I think it's cool to be able to run through the parks more, and which this weekend, Mike, you're going to be able to experience that because we get a lot of part-time out there in Disneyland compared to what we get at World. But yeah, I mean, it has to be guest reception, right? Is why we only get the 200 yards in studios, but I wish they could somehow fix that.
Because we've run through, different parts of the studios with different races, right? I've run through Galaxy's Edge for certain races. I've run through in front of the theater for races. It's not that you can't. It's just that it's probably logistics and complaints. But whatever. It's a business. I understand. So for Disneyland, do we get to run through the parks when they're open? Or are they closed? I
think they're going to be closed because it's always the front end. So the 10K, what is it, like 65% of the races in the parks, which is just unbelievable. Dude, yes. But it is all before the parks, and then you kind of run the same route of the 10K to start the half, and then you're out on the Anaheim street. So the parks won't be open, but there will be spectators, of course, like out on the city streets in Anaheim, and they come out, man. They really do, and that's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to make it won't be like Chicago, I don't think, because you said Chicago was just like wall to wall people.
Party, it's crazy. Yeah. It's like something you wouldn't believe. Like, I didn't believe it. People told me that for years. I'm like, I don't believe it. It's true.
Yeah, but there'll be a good amount of people just on the local streets. So you'll have those. But yeah, the parks will kind of be like how we see it, like on the shorter distances. Like, you'll have cast members out there, custodial crews cheering you on, things like that, which is still very cool. I love seeing that.
Absolutely. Because when else in your life does anybody cheer you on for anything, really? I'm just being honest. Like, when you're a 50-year-old dude or 40-year-old dude, we're sports fans. I'm not saying, to be egotistical, but it's cool to have somebody like cheer for you when you're trying to do a semi-athletic event. You just don't get that in life.
So I joke with my dad about this. So my dad hates it. You probably are the same way, because I know how you think, but my dad hates it when like someone hits a home run or has a big tackle and like stands up and is like, oh yeah, like does this like celebration thing.
Act like you've been there before.
But like, I do that at work. Like, cause like, you know what? Like, I'm going to act like my work is like a sporting event. So if I send this good email to someone and I'm proud of it, I just kind of stand up. I give my teammate a high five. Like, that was the best email I ever wrote, and I'll just throw my hands up in the air. Like, I try to but no one's going to be clapping for me though. No one's going to get me psyched. But I try to applaud my teammates sometimes at work. Like, but you're right. Like, we don't get that in our normal life, the cheering, but I try to bring it on my day-to-day stuff. Though. Like, I applaud you, Mike. Good job on the podcast today. Way to go, buddy.
That's for that last email. And I want to see a video of you spiking your mouse next.
Spiking the mouse.
Next great.
Yeah, I'd use a rubber mouse, so it just bounces right back up to me. Yeah.
I gotta see you take us hurt. Bam. Anyway, no. So okay, so we talk. You know what? I like the shirts this year, and I like the shirts to kind of have like the big numbers to show you how far the race was, and like to say what it was called, so people can ask you about it. I think that's kind of fun. And they had the characters real big. Like sometimes, like the logo was so small. Like in 2019, I think I wore it this morning. I walked.
You wore your 2019 Dopey one today.
Yeah, I just grabbed it off the shelf, and it's like it was so tiny. It was just like, man, did they run out of ink that year or something? These shirts are pretty sharp, and I like the colors too.
Yep. So I like the colors. I like the designs are getting better. So like the animation, the whole look of the shirts are getting better. The problem is the shirts fit terribly. So they used to be champion, and then I think it was in late 2019. I think it was like because the race calendar kind of starts with Wine and Dine. So I think it was like Wine and Dine 2019. They changed the shirt style to just generic Disney, and man, they just don't fit. They're long in the sleeves. They're short in the torso.
They are super long in the sleeves. They go past my fingers.
Yeah, they go past your fingers. They're short in the torso for me. So like I want to wear them, but I don't. Like I always want to wear them like in the parks with my medals and all that, or wear them in town like on a lazy day or whatever. But you never see me wearing them because they don't fit my body. And I wish there was something I wish they could just go back to champion or reconfigure how they do the sizing, because it's really off. But yeah, I applaud who's ever like designing those shirts are doing a great job. I really like them.
Yeah, the material was better too. It was like slicker. It was almost like silker. Like a silkier back then. They were the champion shirts were way. You're exactly.
I like the medals too. I did Goofy this year, so no Dopey medal for me, but that's okay. But it was so funny. Like you and I were like just kind of having a snack with my girls and such at Coronado, and then out of nowhere you're like, what is this thing on the back of my medal? And you hit it. It was like an on-off button or something, and then boom, it started lighting up. That was awesome. I had no idea it was going to light up.
Yeah, I was sitting there eating a mac. We're just like we're kind of hungry, but kind of not. We're like in the tweener. We're having late lunch. I think it was called the Coronado. They had like 3 things on.
Yeah, they didn't even have a real meal for that.
They only had like 3 things you could order. So I got like it was called loaded mac and cheese with Chipotle brisket or something on top of it. I can't remember. I was so tired, but I was sitting there and my medal was backwards. I was all jacked up looking. And I just happened to look down, I think, to see if I had spilled any of the stuff on my shirt. And I looked down, my medal was backwards. I'm like, that's got an on-off switch on the back of it. I had no idea. And so I was like, boop. Yeah, and it lights up. So that's pretty cool. But so I have my medals laying on my kitchen table so the girls could admire them. They could care less really, but I'm trying to impress them as I do. They probably didn't even look. And I have my, it's all laid out cute with my ears and stuff. But when I was eating my lunch today, my turkey sandwich, taking a quick break from work. I think the medals I like the most is I admired them for a second. I like the Goofy one. The Goofy one has like emblems of all 4 parks and almost looks like a baseball diamond. Like that one is really, really sharp. I like that one in the marathon. Always like marathon.
I like the Goofy in the marathon. I think the half marathon is really pretty too. I really like the color of it. I like the Donald and Daisy. I really enjoyed the medals this year. Like nothing will beat that 2022 sets though. The first year after the pandemic, where it was like the 50th anniversary. Like I have them kind of hanging behind me on my medal tree over here. Those were just gorgeous medals. But I was really impressed this year. I love the Chip and Dale 10K one. Your Dopey one was awesome. The 5K Pluto was kind of neat. Like Pluto was just kind of up there, like with his paws up. Like I think they were really pretty medals. Let me ask you. I know we're already at Disneyland now, but we're recording early. Do you plan on bringing any of those for a medal shoot?
Okay. I am. I'm bringing them because I do want to get a medal shoot of all the haul. Because I just think
bringing them all. Then
I am. I'm bringing the ears too. Like I want to get the whole haul of like my January jam. I'm calling it because I'm not getting the Dumbo Double Dare medal because I signed up separately because I couldn't get in. But you luckily signed me up for the 10K while I was ironically enough on the train at Disneyland out at that media event in March. Like, I got an alert. You went in. I was like, shut up. Don't even talk to me. Hang up. Sign me up. Don't even talk to me. Yes. Alert. You got me in. Thank God. So I get to run both races, the 10 and the half, separately, which is fine. And I'll get my coast to coast. So I'll get the 10 and a half and the coast to coast. So I'll get 3 more. So I thought it'd be kind of cool, 9 medals. And
yeah, for sure.
I mean, what else? I'm not Kimberly Markey or any of them guys that got 89 medals, but I can do it once or 9.
Yeah, so I'm gonna bring the full for sure. I'm probably not gonna bring my goofy medal.
Just bring it. I mean, what's it matter? Bring the sucker. I know you.
But I want to bring some up, so I'm gonna bring my 2 coast to coast that I already have.
Yeah, I don't have any of those.
So I don't do this very often, but I like have like a image like plotted like what I want to.
That's why
I want to hold my 2 previous coast to coast, which are the OGs. Those are the best medals ever, the partner statue ones. And we're getting like this weird like luggage tag thing. I don't know if you saw it at the expo.
Okay, I'll hold that thought, but go ahead. Okay, go.
So we're getting like the weird luggage tag one. So I'm gonna like wear that one, have it like on my chest while I'm holding the other ones by the partner statuers out there in Disneyland or something like that. So I'm definitely bringing those. I might bring my old. I do have a Dumbo medal too, so I might bring that. Do like a couple Dumbo photos. So I'm gonna bring a variety of some, but I think I'm only bringing one from this previous race weekend.
I'm bringing them all. I want to picture all of them.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you did, because you did Dumbo. So I mean, you did Dopey, so that makes sense. Bring them all for the whole weekend for sure.
It looks like Jess Melton's coming. Scott, your friend, so she's
Jess, come on, Papa. My dad's coming. Jess, come on.
Wait, it's not too late. The FOMO's real, and let's
just hope we can get on that plane tomorrow.
Yeah. Anyway, my dad's trying to drive to Detroit because the Rams are playing the Lions, by the way, this weekend. So good luck, bro. I hope he gets up there. Also, might not be a radio. We might have a radio feed out in Anaheim for the football game while we're out there. We'll have to figure that ESPN radio might not be featuring the Rams on Sunday night or whatever the game is. I think it's Sunday night. Anyway, go Lions, by the way.
Yeah, I was talking about the coast to coast medal. You wanted to make a comment about that? I think.
Yeah, no, we didn't get luggage tags this year. Did we? Or did I just not get one? Because we've always gotten the like bag tag. Like
that's right. We typically do. Yeah.
We get the, like a little rubbery bag tag thing, and I always put it on my computer bag. I didn't get one. Did I just miss it, or did you not get one too?
I didn't get one. Do they do it for? I think they only do it for like anniversary years of a race, though. I could be wrong.
Oh, well,
like I think my tags are for like the 25th half, the 30th half. Yeah, or the 30th full or something like that. So I don't know if it's every year. I think it's tied to anniversaries. I could be wrong though.
Okay, yeah, because you're right. Because like one of them is like an X, and it was like
that was the 20th half or 25th or something.
Yep. They probably, and I got one for like a princess weekend on my bag. It's because purple. Yeah, maybe it is on anniversary. Because it was when I was coming back I was on the little shuttle bus going back to my Jeep last night at the airport, and I was looking at my computer bag. I'm like, either I lost it because I panicked. I was like, man, I probably just sat it down somewhere. I didn't even see it. And then I was like, so mad because I had the whole set. I'm like, I thought I did. Okay, so nobody got one. That's kind of disappointing. It's got to be an anniversary for something. No, nothing. Anyway.
I think because we just had a 10th Dopey, so and then the half was like a couple years before that. So yeah, I don't think it was an anniversary year for anything this year.
Oh well. Anyway, so
next time.
All right, so we got to wrap this up because we got races to run this weekend. So final thoughts on Marathon Weekend. Of course, nothing's final. We're going to jump into this with the ladies. We'll talk about again. We had some great meals, dude. We destroyed Via Napoli. I mean, we have our picture on the wall somewhere because Marco from Italy, was that his name? Marco?
Matteo.
I'm sure he's remembering us because we ate a full meter of pizza, and it was so good.
And we did the gosh, I can't remember the term he called it, where I made like the pizza pocket or whatever.
He called it a wallet, but he told us it was in Italian, but it was a wallet.
We need waiter Elizabeth or Shelley to remind us of what that was. I don't remember what the term was, but yeah, I took us one slice of pizza. I'm sure we've all done this, right? Everyone's done this at some point, right? And then you stack another pizza on top of it and just kind of roll it and fold it into like a nice little pizza sandwich. Man, it was so good.
Yeah, but you took the margarita and put it on top of a quattro formaggio, and that thing was a piece of resistance.
So I only did 2 races this weekend, but I did want to make another observation that we should just put out there for those that follow Run Disney or done races before, but somehow maybe missed this and all the excitement. For the half and the full marathon, we did not have to do a mile trek. The race started right there in the Epcot parking lot. It was just like your normal setup for a 5K and a 10K, and that was beautiful.
That is the best. God bless America. I mean, honestly, it saves you a mile of walking, and I am not kidding. And it just here's the thing too, as a runner. I mean, I can tell you this because I've done that. I bet you I've done that walk 20 times or more because I've done the half marathon before I even did the full marathon. I did the half marathon probably 8 times before I ever did a full, and I've been doing the full for 10 years. So, and of course, every time we do the full, I've done the dopey 8 times. So I've done the half. I've
So
probably
you've done a lot of times.
I've done a lot of times. Now, God, that's crazy. But I didn't even think about that. But the thing is, like, dude, that is the walk of nerves, man. I hate. Not only was it long, it's like the most miserable walk too, because you really see how many people are in that race. And like it really is, because whether you're in like a front corral or a back corral, I don't like it because it kind of just shows you like where you're going to be and all that. It was just miserable because you're far away. It's a long walk and it gives you time to think about everything. And it's not good. It just feels more friendly to just go right from where you're standing with your friends, right through kind of the check, boom into the corrals and right to the start line. This is so much better. I mean, it's 100 times better.
Yeah,
I love it.
Definitely an improvement there. So I applaud. And like there was a new the race announcers were great. I didn't see them all 4 mornings, but we had a new person join the crew. It looked like they were great. The whole OG crew, well, not the OG crew, but the latest crew. You know, they kind of feel like OGs now. Were outstanding. So I just applaud Run Disney. They put on a great event. I know I'm like partially kind of retiring in quotes, but here I am like still doing all these race weekends. But they do a good product. They do a great job. Sure, like it's hard to please every single person that's running. I mean, there's 20,000 runners. It's hard to please everyone, but I think they do an exceptional job, and just kudos to them for putting on another great marathon weekend for us.
Yeah, again, you know, you and I are like the Riley Claremont and John Pelkey
fan club.
I mean, we love Carissa and we love the other announcers too, but those two guys are like right up our alley, right? Because they're that combination of comedian, actor, but also sports. We love when they throw in a little football talk in the corrals, or a little whatever. But they're also good to us. I mean, they will come and talk with us sometimes. They comment on our social media. We're just yahoos, right? But they take the time to like our pictures sometimes. They take the time to wish us happy birthday sometimes, and that means a lot, because over the years we're not friends with them by any means, but they're kind to us, and it's good to have a friendly face up there, with the microphone, with the getting us out there, and they entertain us. I mean, they are out there, they're not running the things, but they're out there longer than we are, and they're good at their job. That what they're doing, interviewing people and sharing those stories about people that are overcoming stuff that you can't even imagine, that makes you kind of get in a headspace like, I can do this today because look at this person's an amputee and they're going to go 26 miles, or this person has overcome cancer, they're going to go 26 miles. You know what, Mike, suck it up, you can do this. It put things in perspective, and to share those stories, it really does kind of give you a sense of we're all in this together. And I love to see that.
I consider all 3 of them like good friends, man. I feel like I know them so much from just hanging out in the corrals,
exactly,
all the socials, but I consider them great friends. They're awesome. And man, yeah, like we're talking about our voices hurting today, Mike. Like they're just talking nonstop for 4 straight days. I can't imagine what they're going through right now. Their voices got to be so sore. And this is just kind of funny to me, but like how they deal with like the delay, right? So like they talk into the microphone, then they'll hear themselves on a speaker further away, like 2 seconds later. It's amazing. They're so professional. They're always on point, and it always impresses me how they can do that with like delays and everything through the audio. It's just so good.
And it's fun because a lot of us come back and do the races year after year, and it is, it's like a reunion. It really is. It's like, how you doing? How you been? And it's good to see you again. And that's what this is. So speaking of, this is great because it is always sad because we only see each other at Disney a lot of times throughout the year. But man, this goodbye after marathon weekend wasn't too bad because I knew I'd be seeing you in like 3 days.
Yeah, it was awesome. We hugged it out at 3 Bridges, and I was like, we're now at 3 Bridges, but I'll see you in 3 days.
That's right. And so we're going to be together this weekend, a lot of us, and excited for a new experience on the West Coast. I can't wait because, like I said, one of the greatest things as a Disney fan is when you get to do something for the first time. And a lot of us that listen to this show, we're very lucky because we've gotten to have a lot of Disney experiences. But what that means is you don't have many things that you can do for the first time again. You can't ride an attraction for the first time because you've done so many things. But for me, I mean, just personally, I'm excited. Never run a West Coast race. I'm going to enjoy this weekend and kind of be wide-eyed and bushy-tailed and see everything that's going on. So I'm excited for that and getting more, most excited to just see everybody on the West Coast. So safe travels to everybody out there if you're still heading out, and let's get those medals. Let's run the miles, but mostly Let's eat all the great snacks at Disneyland and have so much fun. Oh man, I can't wait, Scotty G. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to go. I just hope I can walk around the parks.
I'll be driving. Man, we got Genie Plus, dude. We are not slowing down. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I will be walking slow, but yeah, Genie Plus will be saving me for sure, though.
Absolutely. All right, let's duck out of here and have a great race weekend. We will be back with a fun trip report show. It's already recorded on Monday. It's about an ultimate touring plan, ironically enough. So stay tuned for that. Don't forget, our show is brought to you by the Magic for Less Travel. We'd love to help you plan your next Disney adventure. If it's a Run Disney race weekend, we are great. We're experts at that. Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland, whatever it is, Adventures by Disney, we'll take great care of you. I'll be back in the office starting next week on Tuesday, but we have great agents taking care of you while I'm on the West Coast running. It's awesome. So just check them out over at themagicforless.com. Please also, if you'd like to support us on Patreon, I'd really, really appreciate that. That keeps the lights on. Of course, the cost of everything's going up in 2024. They raised our rates for Podbean, but it's okay. We're going to keep that show going, and it's because of our patrons that make the show happen. So patreon.com/BRGuestPodcast, you get that bonus show every week called Mike in the Midwest. This week, it was my initial thoughts on Marathon Weekend, just kind of a solo show there. So check that out, patreon.com/BRGuestPodcast, and use our Amazon affiliate link, brguestpodcast.com/Amazon, when you go shopping. If you need some blister pads. Blister pads.
I have a blister pad on right now.
I'm just saying. See, I know how to target people. I'm like Facebook. I'm like Instagram. So if you need them, brguestpodcast.com/Amazon. Okay. Scott, we're going to do all kinds of coverage out of Disneyland. I promise you. Matterhorn. Dude, Matterhorn. I'm so sore. Just thinking of that just made my eyes water. But I might. I can
do Matterhorn. I can do the rides. My body feels great. It's just my feet.
My back's kind of sore. My back's kind of jacked.
Oh no.
Maybe it'll fix it though.
Maybe Matterhorn will be the medicine you need.
I don't know. I got to ride it if I'm going out there. Anyway, it'll be fun. We'll be making video. I'll be doing those quick hit videos out there. We'll have a good time with social media. So be our guest, Mike, Scott, Instagram, follow us, all the social media. And of course, we'll have the live shows coming up when we get back, but not this Sunday. So we'll have a good time and hopefully you'll enjoy the coverage. So until we get back, for Scotty G, I'm Mike, wishing you a great Friday and an awesome weekend. Y'all stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you real soon. Awesome.
Man, did that work? Like, I felt like I was like lagging somewhere in there, but I think
it was lagging, but it sounded the audio never lags.
Okay.
The video does, but who cares?
And there was one point, like, if it completely froze and you froze on me too, then all of a sudden you were like in like high speed, like trying to get caught up. And you're like, it was really funny on my end, but
no, yeah, you did freeze, but the audio again stuck. So it was, it kind of buffered for like 1 second, but it was fine.
Okay, cool. I always worry about that. So.
Nope, it was good. I'm glad you worry about that. That's why you're my bud, because nobody else worries about that. But if you do, makes me happy.
Well, then I don't want to sound like an idiot if I missed what you said and then I repeat it.
When I was saying that when I said your jacket was crimson, was when you were locked up.
Oh, is that when I? Well, yeah. That's why, because you were talking about some
yeah. So there might be a little awkward pause there, but I mean, it could be an awkward pause because of I was saying your jacket was crimson too.
If Michelle's still in here, yes, the Dapper Dans are awesome. You might have joined late, but we definitely talked about that. That was like the coolest national anthem of all time.
It was.
And Richard, if you're still in here, I think I sent you a message, man. Mike, get this. Like, I'm over by Animal Kingdom. And I get this text from Richard. He's like, Scotty G, man, you are a beast. You're crushing it right now. Like, I should have talked about that, man. Like, because I was getting messages from people that weren't there, and like that just like gets you that jolt that you need sometimes, Like, so Richard, that was awesome to hear you just sending me that text, man. Got me fired up for a couple miles. That's
what I'm saying. Like, our community is the best. I mean, like people popped up at the most random places for me. Like I said, like on the boat, like they're on the water on the friendship boat. Is I'm going on that path, and that path stunk. I was so done at mile 23 or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But man picked me up, and I was like, oh God,
that's so awesome.
We're gonna get there. Yeah, it was awesome. So
yeah, I saw Michelle on the course. That was awesome. It's very cool. So I say I hate the marathon, but I kind of love it too, because there's just something about that day. It is tough. It's long. It felt longer this year because of that dumb rain, but there's something about that accomplishment, that feeling, and then just like all the congratulations, man. You just find the true love in people on the day of the marathon. I should have said that on the podcast. What I'm saying after the episode.
We still have time. We can do it. We're going to talk about it again.
Yeah, we should talk about my trip though, man, because I had some good stuff there too. But
no, we that's what I want to do with like Ricky too.
Yeah,
so we'll do it. We got
all right. I got to start packing.
I know. So I hope your flight gets out on time.
I hope so too. So we'll
All right.
find out.
Shoot me some text messages, brother.
All right, I will. Have a good night, everyone.
Family, I said hello.
We'll do. Same to you. All right. Bye.
All right. See you, brother. Bye.